Hey guys, I'm just putting away leftovers after dinner here, but I'm glad you stopped by. It's a good time to point out that if you're going to be using frozen phyllo dough like we will be in this application, it's important to remember to take it out of the freezer the night before you're going to use it and go ahead and put it in the fridge, let it defrost nice and slowly. Also, when you get the frozen phyllo dough, it's important to get the pastry sheets. They do sell oftentimes things that are preformed in that ridiculous shape, but you're going to want the sheets for this and whatnot. And yes, I do buy frozen phyllo dough, so should you, unless you're like a 98-year-old Greek lady and you make your own. That's fine too. All right, and no, I'm not telling you what we're making because you already know, don't you? I'll see you in the morning.
Did he take the phyllo dough out of the freezer? He took the phyllo dough out of the freezer! He took the phyllo dough out of the freezer!
I give you baklava. That's right. Today I'm very excited. We're going to be making my favorite Mediterranean baked nut and phyllo dessert, baklava. People are very excited around here when I make it. I don't know why, but it's fun. It's good times. I'm pretty excited. We're going to be going over the ingredients used, which are pretty simple, and then we're going to make the nut mixture. We're going to build the actual baked good, which is the length of the effort. We're going to be making the simple syrup, the citrus simple syrup, baking the actual dessert, waiting then entirely too long before finally showing service. Excellent. So ingredients real quick. You already know about the phyllo dough and how I buy frozen and then defrost it overnight in the fridge. That's great. We will also be utilizing 1 full pound of butter, and we'll talk about that later. Okay. 1 orange. You can use orange, lemon, really any citrus of your choice. I normally just stick with one of them and go for an orange. Then you need 6 cups of nuts of varying kind, with the only rule being the majority should be walnuts. So the quality of the nuts are going to be the biggest issue here that you're going to want to pay attention to. If you're going to do store-bought nuts, which you probably are, just make sure you buy them in the fresh, and they're good to go. So I've got a bunch of walnuts here. We also are fortunate enough to get homegrown Texas pecans from within the family, and so I'm going to be using homegrown pecans as well in my application today. So just walnuts and pecans for me. Then we've got sugar and water for the simple syrup. That's about it for the ingredients. Pretty easy recipe. It's all in the construction. So come on back here, join me at the blender, and we're going to make the nut mixture. Okay, come on. Okay, to start making the nut mixture, pretty simple. We're going to use walnuts and pecans, like I mentioned. Just store-bought walnuts, nice and fresh. Send them for a spin in the old food processor. See, the average size has gotten way smaller. You got kind of like a walnut crumble. You don't want walnut dust, but you want a walnut crumble there. So cool. Let's kind of dump those out. Now the pecans. Oh, all right. Yeah. Perfect. Take them for a spin as well. Okay, welcome back. I know it looks like maybe you missed a lot, but I'll just catch you up real quick, and trust me, you haven't missed too much. I melted half of the amount of butter that we're going to use. Yes, this is half of the butter. See this giant, you know, delectable swimming pool amount of butter? That's half. Okay, here's the nut mixture we did before. All I did was add nutmeg, clove, and cinnamon to it, and now I am actually going to add 3 tablespoons of the butter to it as well. That's our nut mixture: cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, pecans, walnuts, and then just 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to put that off to the side for a little bit and bring your attention to what's going on down here. So down here we've got our 9x13, which I will butter very well. So the phyllo dough, let's talk real quick about the phyllo dough. It's going to come, when you get it out of the package, normally in either 1 or 2 of these rolls, and you can basically open it up and unroll it out onto some saran wrap, glad, as I should say, but onto some plastic wrap here. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to cover it with another layer of plastic wrap. And then to make sure that there's nothing exposed, just kind of pat it down. All right, great, very good. We've got our sheet buttered here, and we're good to go. What I'm going to do right off the bat is start with a 4-piece kind of overlapping wing section. Let's go ahead and start with one sheet kind of flat down bottom. Notice kind of fold it, kind of wave it down. As soon as it hits the butter, it's going to want to stick to it, and then it won't be able to move. Like I said, this broke. It doesn't matter at all. We're going to be so many layers of phyllo here that broken tears and whatnot, they all just kind of meld together. How do they meld together? With the glue of phyllo dough, which is butter. So every inch of both sides of every piece of phyllo will be painted with butter. And that is why it takes about 45 minutes to construct. But the end result of that is you get some really nice puffing, really nice air expansion and puffing with every single layer of phyllo. And when we finally slice into this thing, you know, 15 years from now, you'll see that. It'll be really good. So anyways, just throwing the butter down, there we go. Next sheet. Now this I just want to show you. We're going to create a couple of these overlapping layers. So I'm going to start by putting one piece about halfway over the edge and pressing it down along the side here. Excellent. Lovely. Oh, now, as soon as you're about to make phyllo touch itself, butter. Mo butter. Grab the next piece here. See, I'm actually basically you lift it up and get your hand under like that, so then you can kind of pick it up. You don't actually grab and try to hold it like that. It will just kind of fall on itself and start to tear. So you kind of get under it, support it, and then lay it down nice and gentle. Okay? On that one, right. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and butter these and then lay a few more in the middle to form the bottom. I mean, you can imagine we're building obviously from the bottom up, and the bottom section there of our baklava needs to be, you know, the base. It's gonna, if you pick up the piece, you don't want it to fall apart entirely. And just from a presentation standpoint, you know, the bottom kind of needs to have several layers of phyllo before the first round of nuts gets involved. And so, okay, we're back. I've just put down about 3 or 4 more layers, buttering each one in between. We're ready now for our first layer of our nut mixture. So I'm going to grab a 1 cup measuring spoon here and just kind of dig out. We're going to go 2 cups, which represents 1/3 of our nut mixture here for the bottom. I'm going to make the bottom layer the thickest one. It's supported by a bunch of layers underneath, and it just, again, ends up looking nice when you're done. So 2 cups of my 6, excellent. And you see how nice it spreads nice and smooth and whatnot. Also mind, I did cover the phyllo again with that plastic wrap here because my attention is not there for now. As soon as you're not working with the phyllo, you should be not working with the phyllo and cover it up, okay? Speaking of the phyllo, now we see the magic of why I did these 4 overlapping sides here. We're just going to fold them up and use that as a chance to cover and seal all around the outside the nuts. So come over here and just kind of bring them on down, and you see, I don't know if you can see that, how the phyllo actually comes away from the wall and forms this nice full envelope that wraps over and envelopes the nuts. Okay, what I was about to do there, I was about to take this phyllo dough and fold it over, but then phyllo would be touching phyllo, and what do you need? Say it with me, people. Mo butter. Bring the next one over. Boom. Again, envelopes in the nuts. You got a nice little layer there. Beautiful. All right, cool. So we finished our envelope, and now we have a nice little sealed nut package, and we're basically just going to make another one. I'm going to start by laying another 4 pieces down, another 1 or 2 in the middle, more nuts, another envelope, and do a couple layers. And so let's just do that for a little bit.
It's time to start.
Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
Okay. Hey, that was the last round of the nuts here. Just figured I would come back and give you guys an update again. You will be ecstatic and thrilled and overjoyed to know that I did indeed melt the second half of the pound of butter. So we are into our full pound now. Very good. Got the last layer of nuts. I just kept on doing the 4 sheets on the outside. 1 sheet in the middle, nuts, envelope, 4 sheets, 1 in the middle, nuts, envelope, until I was done. The last envelope layer here. Also, in the meantime, I have preheated the oven to 350. You're going to want to do that as soon as you're starting to end up getting finished. Now, one other thing I'll point out here is I have quite a bit of phyllo dough still left. That's fine. I probably could have done more on the bottom if you actually go to try and make this recipe for you. Go ahead and do like 8 or 10 sheets on the bottom if you like, depending on how many sheets you end up with in the pound of phyllo. But having a whole bunch on the top is bonus, and that is what you want. You want the top to be the thickest amount of phyllo so that as it bakes, all that phyllo puffs up and you end up with this real beautiful, each piece is going to have its own dome of phyllo, if you will. It kind of puffs up and it's just fantastic. It's what you want. So I'm basically going to go and run through all the rest of this phyllo here. Okay, I'm going to plow through the rest of these and then I'll show you what we do right before we put it in the oven. Pretty cool, pretty exciting, and it is steeped in the culture well before they knew about the connection between butter and, like, heart attacks, for instance. Yay! Okay, come back in a minute. All right, we've arrived. The moment you've all been waiting for and you didn't even know it. This is the part in the recipe where it literally says to pour the remaining butter over the dish. And every time I make this, I'm like, no, that's bad, ew. And then I picture the 98-year-old Greek lady, just so disappointed, so sad. Why don't you like fun, Nick? I mean, and I say, all right, I'll do it for you, for my people. And it tastes really good. I mean, let's not lie about that. So I've taken this guy here and I've scored it. I don't know if you can see that, but you have to basically take your paring knife and you cut down about a 1/4 of an inch or so, basically through all the top layers that I just put on the phyllo dough, and it looks like it's all ready and happy to go in the oven. I mean, this thing is heavy. It's not going anywhere. It's already caked in and cemented with butter. But here we go. Oh my God, just pour on the rest of the butter and get it all. This is the grossest thing I do in the kitchen, I think. So we got the extra butter in there. And now one thing that's very traditional to do at this point is to throw some of those whole cloves I was talking about. Put the whole cloves in every other piece or so. The scoring obviously gives you the pieces that are already well defined. And you, right there. Perfect. Excellent. All right. Now this guy is ready to go into our 350-degree oven for about an hour. We're going to watch it uncovered the entire time, so we're going to be careful. We're going to watch it, but that top layer is well protected now by a shield, proverbial force field of deliciousness and stuff. All right, cool. Making the citrus simple syrup couldn't be simpler. It's as you'd expect, 1.5 to 2 cups of sugar into the pot. 1 cup then of water or some other flavorful liquid. Now I have used everything from just straight water to a combination of water and orange juice all the way to beer. In fact, one of the first times I experimented a little bit here, this is the place I did experiment, was I used a barley wine, a whole cup of barley wine instead of water, and it was the barley wine baklava to go with the barley wine beer, and it was very, very good. So today, I'll tell you, it's actually a little odd. We happen to have some really, really good fresh watermelon juice. So I'm going with about 1/3 of a cup of watermelon juice, 1/3 of a cup of orange juice, and 1/3 of a cup of water to get me my 1 cup by volume of liquid for the simple syrup. I have no idea if the 1/3 of a cup of watermelon juice will even matter, if it will be good, bad, other. I'm sure it'll be fine. Tastes great. In it goes. And then the last piece is several inches worth of the zest from an orange or a lemon. You can do orange and lemon, any combination really. This is the place you could experiment. The only thing is to make sure that you remove as much of the pith as you can. You just take a paring knife, cut away the peel, and then you can use a paring knife or a peeler and kind of scrape away that really bitter white part there. So just right on in, stir to combine, and then you let it boil. So you let it boil for about 8 or 10 minutes, kill the heat, let it cool off, and you've got yourself a nice flavorful syrup. All right, timer's up. It's been actually about 50 minutes, so I'm gonna check on them. I've been checking it throughout. I think it's gonna be pretty good. Let's check it out. Bring in for the close-up of the beautiful. Look at that. Hot and fresh out of the oven. This just smells fantastic. Looks pretty good. The whole thing jiggles. I don't know if you can see that. Or hear it. You can hear it moving in there. Whole thing jiggles in there. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. Look at that movement. Why is that? Butter. All right. And you basically just pour this sucker on over. And then you use the spoon if you need to kind of control the flow. But I like to hit the edges and the corners to make sure that they get it. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's actually bubbling right away because this the dish is actually, of course, still very, very hot. Now, here's the part I'm going to show you that is tough. Careful. Significantly heavier. All right. You can look on the side there. You can see how high up the syrup is. I mean, the syrup is, if you can see the lip there, but it is all the way to the top. Okay, the syrup is, I've got it at the corner right here. There you can see it still bubbling there, all the way at the top. So that's a lot of syrup. A lot of syrup, and obviously if I was to try to serve this anytime now in the near future, I would just be kind of yucky, sticky, soggy pieces floating in syrup, and the syrup would actually be just all over the place. It'd be crazy. So, the ancient text tells me that I have a minimum, absolute minimum time of a 24-hour wait on this puppy now. It's got to sit and think about what it's done. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait for a little while, and last shot here is going to be service. So, great. Okay, well, we have made it to the next day. It's been a full, we let this guy sit out for a whole 24 hours. We did the recommended time, and it looks fantastic. It looks really good. I've gone ahead and plated a couple so you can come check them out and whatnot. If you look up close here, you can see that we got nice layering on the top, and we got a bunch of nut layers here that are really nice. And you can pick these guys up. They're pretty good. Yeah, that's really good. Now I plated several here on the plate for service, you know, and for distribution, but you would never normally eat more than one at a given serving. They're very rich, and they're very decadent, and they're almost cloyingly sweet. So really, you never eat more than one at a time, and you just go and enjoy the one that you got, saving the rest for later. And of course, like I said, the longer you wait, the better they are. But this came out fantastic. It's really good, really excited, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks a lot. See you next time.